Hey, good evening, folks. Bear with me tonight as I do tonight's review. I'm worn out. I'm just really tired. Um, so, it's like they say, don't keep things bottled up. So for tonight's review, I'm going to follow that sage advice. I am not going to keep our review bottled up. I am going to enjoy some Hennessy. All right, Hennessy Cognac. Couldn't find any big bottles, so I had to go with this. Why am I doing this tonight? A couple of weeks ago at work, I was talking about, and a gentleman asked me what my next review was going to be on. He suggested Hennessy, or he was talking about Hennessy. And I said, I never tried Hennessy. And he was like, what? And even the lady I work with, who really ignores when I talk about the channel, freaking out, her head started spinning like Beetlejuice and stuff like that. So, Mr. Menzie, thank you for the suggestion. So a little history behind Hennessy. As you know, I like to give a little history behind everything. Hennessy Company is a French producer based in Cognac, France. It's the world's largest cognac producer. And in 2017, all U.S. sales of cognac, 60% was Hennessy. The distillery was founded by an Irish Jacobite, Richard Hennessy, in 1765. So if it's good, the Irish had to be involved. And just in case you're wondering, Jacobite is the name or the term given to individuals back in the 17th and 18th century who supported the restoration of the House of Stuart to the British throne. So that's how that name came about, and that's the term used for him. Now, cognac is a specific type of brandy. It's produced from distilled white wine, distilled twice in copper kettles or pots, and aged in French oak barrels. And something also that it has to do is those French oak barrels, the oak has to come from one of two forests in France. One is Limousin, and the other is Tronquet. And distillation season has to occur right after harvest, which is usually 1 October through 31 March is the season to distill. Has to be distilled twice. And they take the sediment the distillate from the first brew or distilling. And after the second time they distill it, they add the distillate back into it. At that point, it can be called cognac. And it's kind of twofold because the only other reason it can be called cognac is it has to be produced in a certain region of France. It's southwest of Paris and just north of Bordeaux. There's 5 regions that it is distilled from, and that's why it's called cognac. Almost like tequila in Mexico. Check out my tequila review. I might leave a link below on why it's called tequila and not agave. Okay. Now, if you notice, for Hennessy and for other types of cognac, there are different classifications. Okay, VS, which is your basic Hennessy, stands for very special. It's aged for a minimum of 2 years. VSOP is very superior old pale age. It's aged for a minimum of 4 years. So I'm VSOP. I'm superior, I'm old, and I'm pale. Okay. XO used to be the term, Hennessy XO, used to be the term reference to aged a minimum of 6 years. But that's changed. I think early 2000s, correct me if I'm wrong down below. Now, a minimum aging of 6 years is called Napoleon. Why anybody want to use a failed French dictator for their cognac, classification, no clue. The guy was an idiot. All right, so he loses, gets exiled to the Isle of Elba, which is really nice. It's, between Corsica and Tuscany in Italy. almost a tropic climate. But no, he wants to, no, I'm going to go take France back. Escapes. He actually amasses an army of 200,000 by the time he lands in southern France to the time he gets in Paris. Regains the throne for a whole 100 days. And then, everybody knows the famous Battle of Waterloo. And that's where he lost. Why he's an idiot, then the Brits who came in, the Brits and the Prussians, came in to help the northern French, beat them. So the Brits exile him to the Isle of St. Helena, and bam, okay? Head straight south from France, down off the coast of Angola in Africa. Then you head west out into the Atlantic for 2,000 miles. And that's where he lived out his pitiful life. Okay? Complaining about how dark and damp it was. And it's like, so I guess don't piss the British off. But anyways, I'm sorry, I digress. Okay, so now it's Napoleon for a minimum age of 6 years. XO now refers to a minimum age of 10 years. So just remember that if you're ever on Jeopardy. Hennessy, you got 26 different varieties. Its initial use was used as an aperitif or digestif. But now they've been marketing more than that. If you use it in a cocktail, there are some recipes to use Hennessy as a cocktail as opposed to straight or over the rocks. If you tried it in cocktails, let me know. How is it? You think the French, they would really like their cognac? Wrong answer. As of 2020, they say 98% of cognac produced in France is actually exported to other countries. So they're really not into it. Again, Hennessy is very popular in the United States, especially among the African American community. There's some difference of opinions on why that is. Some refer to the 1992 hip-hop song by Tupac, titled, you guessed it, Hennessy. But others trace it as far back as World War I, World War II, where you had a lot of African-American soldiers who were in France at the time, and that's when they picked up the love of Hennessy. They brought it back, they brought their desire for Hennessy back to the States, and it's been a favorite of the African-American community ever since. And at one point, even Hennessy, the directors, stated they did target, and they do target the African-American market here in the States for their product. Advertising in Ebony and Jet, back when we had magazines. Some of you may remember those days. But it's pretty interesting. I like how they kind of tie in the World War I, World War II aspect in it in France. Of course, we had to be over there. They say the only time France wants us, the Americans, go to war with Germany is when Germany's sitting in their cafes drinking coffee. So anyways, I just thought that was funny. Patton really didn't like the French either. But anyways, let's go ahead and go for the taste test. And like I said, don't keep things bottled up. You got to let it out. Okay, nice amber color. Almost matches the ball behind me, doesn't it? All right. I'm picking up a very woody scent. Very good. Let's go ahead and try it. That's different. Again, this is the first time I've ever tried it. And I don't know if it would be good for soda. I think as is very good. This is something to kind of settle you down, either a digestif after dinner or an aperitif, just something before dinner, something light for your appetite. So yeah, Mr. Benzie, again, thank you. This is very good. Thank you for the suggestion. Shoot me a like, and if you're enjoying this, subscribe, and we will go from there. Oh, and I'm also going to put a link down. I've got another channel. Check it out, and I think you'll really enjoy it. I did something really funky this time for my first one there. But then again, Hennessy, enjoy, and drink often. Very good.